All right, guys. So we all know the backstory here. Blake Lively essentially threatened, you could say, Justin Baldoni, calling Taylor Swift and Ryan Reynolds her beautiful little dragon monsters that she sometimes has to use to get what she wants done. Well, I am pleased to report that we have got live footage of one of her dragons. Check this out. I am so sorry, Queen Khaleesi. It does not seem to be going well for you right now. Well, we'll tell you guys, yesterday we did this episode. Obviously, you saw it. I just was starting to put together this timeline like the psycho that I am and recognize that Taylor Swift was just in the mix a lot. You know, she's listed on special thanks to Taylor Swift on the credits of It Ends With Us. We had a lot of question marks about why that was. And again, just her particular flavor and style of I'm the victim and like these horrible men did something to me. And I personally did not feel that Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds had the star power to get the New York Times to risk their professional reputation to help take down Justin Baldoni. That's like global star power. That's something Kris Jenner can get done, Taylor Swift can get done, Beyonce can get done. Not Ryan Reynolds, not a Blake Lively for sure. Anyway, so today woke up, Daily Mail, huge article. And I want to tell you something first and foremost before we even discuss this article. Do not let people mistake you into thinking this is just a gossip column, okay? I've hung around some of these A-listers. I used to be friends with Kanye West. I know how this works. And let me tell you something that is well known in Hollywood is that Taylor Swift has plugs, especially at the Daily Mail, when she wants to get a narrative out. The person that works for her is this woman named Tree. And Tree is allegedly vicious. She will protect Taylor Swift's reputation by any means necessary. And they fold, okay? The editors, the writers, journalists, when she says put something in the mail, it gets done. And I'm not saying that part allegedly. That is a fickety fact, okay? Take that to the bank, start a 401k. Tree knows how, when she feels Taylor Swift is being threatened, she's going to protect her reputation. So this Daily Mail article appears very timely. It says Taylor Swift taking a step back from Blake Lively as dramatic legal battle with Justin Baldoni threatens their decade-long friendship. And it's got James Fatushka as the writer. He is in the entertainment space. He's like the top writer for their entertainment column. And he's not going to just write this unless he was told this. This is how it works in the background, you guys. You have these PR people who come behind and they tell you this is what we want planted. And the more power you have, it will be word for word, exactly what you want the public to read. So I'll tell you what they want the public to read. It says Taylor Swift is taking a step back from her friendship with Blake Lively after feeling like she was used as an intimidation tactic by the actress in a lawsuit that she never wanted to be embroiled in. For the time being, she is taking a step back from Blake because she doesn't want to get tangled in this more than she already has, which is far more than she ever needed to be, an insider told the Daily Mail. Her friends also think that Blake's I'm Khaleesi and like her, I happen to have dragons text to Justin was uncool and unnecessary because she was essentially used as an intimidation tactic. She was referred to as some kind of pet or possession. Taylor shouldn't even be involved in this at all. She was only going over to visit Blake and Ryan with the understanding that the meeting would be over. A second source said, Taylor has politely backed away from it all. She is conscious of her own image and hates that she was even mentioned. Okay, so the last part is true. She is politely backed away because she's conscious of her own image. She's extremely conscious. But it can't always be that Taylor Swift is being used. She can't always be being used. I'm sorry. It's been like 20 years of her being used, and I don't feel that that is the true story, okay? They acknowledge in this piece that the last time that Blake Lively and Swift were pictured together was in October on a double date with Travis Kelce. And since basically Blake Lively has filed this sexual harassment complaint with the Californian Civil Rights Department, they have not been pictured together. So again, I'm going to tell you why I don't believe this article. First and foremost, because it is just Taylor's modus operandi to constantly say that she's being used and she doesn't know how she got here, blah, blah, blah. But there's also something that doesn't make sense, okay? What do you mean you showed up and the meeting was still going on? What does that mean? What does that mean? I showed up and the meeting was still going on. So what are you being victimized by? If I show up at my friend's house and there's a meeting going on and I didn't know it was still going to go on, I don't need to insert myself in that meeting. Justin Baldoni in his lawsuit stipulates that Taylor Swift peer pressured him. And she's not denying that in this article. She's not saying, I didn't speak to him, I said nothing, which I would be like, oh, you just used me as an intimidation tactic in your phone. I had nothing to do with it. She is saying that she then went and heaped praise on Blake Lively's version of the opening scene. That's what his lawsuit states. This is when they were talking about that rooftop scene. Okay. So she inserted herself in that. So unless Blake gave her the nudge and said, can you go in there? In which case, Taylor Swift is still responsible for having peer pressured him. Then there's no deniability here. She can't say, I had nothing. I don't know how I got involved in this. You got involved in it because you peer pressured him to make a change that he didn't want to make to his movie. So her follow-up text, which reads like a psycho, obviously, I'm Khaleesi, these are my dragons. She said it because you did something, okay? He clearly texted and said, you didn't have to do that. You didn't have to have Taylor Swift there to make me look at your edits. And Blake Lively doesn't say, oh, what are you talking about? Taylor Swift said nothing to you. Instead, she doubles and triples down by saying, she's my beautiful little monster. Sometimes I have to release these little monsters on the world. So it happened, okay? It actually happened. And Baldoni said that she specifically spoke up about how much she loved the script, which implies to me that unless Taylor Swift is a liar, she read the script. So she involved herself in the script of the movie. Unless she lied. Again, just backing up a friend. Yeah, what she said, love the move. She must have read Blake Lively's edit. So why is she backing out here? Very carefully worded back out. Because she's smart. Okay, Taylor Swift is very smart. She is media savvy. Tree is media savvy. She's looking at this case. Okay, if you're her point person, Tree, and you're reading through the documents, you're going, Blake Lively's going to lose this. Okay, so we're going to take a lifeboat now and say that we don't want to deal with this. She could still, by the way, be friends with Blake Lively in the background. If Tree is as savvy as I think she is, she's probably going to say to Taylor, pretend to be shocked that this article came out, but we're getting you out of this publicly. We're going to throw this article in the Daily Mail. Then you tell, I don't know what happened. I feel used by Tree. I don't know how this article happened. So the public thinks you have nothing to do with it. And you are not going to be pictured with her until this thing is over. And this is being slated for 2026. Okay, so I don't even think they're not friends anymore. She's the godmother to her children. But I think that Taylor Swift is publicly backing away from this friendship because she's intelligent. But like I said, I have a scent on this like a hound, and I wanted to show you something, and I'm going to show you why I even further do not believe a word that Taylor Swift is saying, and I still have question marks about her involvement, because something else that got sent to me is completely crazy, okay? Seriously, you guys, this is, get seated here. This is super interesting. So I'm showing you something that I actually had saved as a piece of the puzzle, but I didn't know where it quite fit in the puzzle. So I just held it to the side. I was like, okay, this is random. It's a random thing that I know happened, but I don't know why this happened, and I'm not sure why it's important. So apparently, toward the end of filming for It Ends With Us, and also simultaneously the end of the filming for Deadpool, because remember, these films were filming at the exact same time, suddenly the It Ends With Us crew decided that they needed a new composer. It's very strange. The movie has a composer, and you would not be hiring that person or trying to change that person or fire that person late in the day. You don't just suddenly switch out the composer a year after you begin filming. That sounds very stressful. And what was even more interesting is that not only did they remove the It Ends With Us composer, but they decided to use Deadpool's composer. Okay, so here's the clip that I didn't show you before because I wasn't sure about this piece. And here is Deadpool's composer, Rob Simonson, discussing that sudden change in the phone call that he got. Take a listen. Again, this is Deadpool's composer, Rob Simonson, appearing on the Score podcast.
So there was like a week of recording left on Deadpool, and I suddenly get a text from Blake, and she sent a little video saying, I'm doing this thing, need a score. Can you deliver it in a week? And I said, I don't think a week, but maybe 3 if we have 3. So that materialized, and yeah, so it was sequential. Was able to kind of finish up Deadpool, but I was going from the dub of Deadpool and going back to the studio at night working on Blake's film. So
In a
it was a little
week?
nutty. Well,
Is that a
it
month
ended up being
ambitious?
about a month.
I have to wonder. I mean, no interest in dishing, but was there a composer before that or did they just one day wake up and say, "Oh, you know what we need? A score. Call that guy who's doing my husband's movie. Maybe he has time." I mean, how do you end up getting a call with we're in that kind of a pinch? Unless I kind of guessed correctly.
Yeah, I think probably it was a scenario of a last second replacement.
I saved $700 with Liberty Mutual. Crazy what you can get with those savings.
A last second replacement of a composer in which someone got kicked out of It Ends With Us and they pulled over this guy from Deadpool last minute, the umpteenth hour. What could have happened? I didn't know what to do with this information. I was like, okay, just store it, Candace. Something will pop up and a piece of this will make sense. So get ready, okay? Yesterday, somebody sends me an email. It's always, I'm telling you, the culture, man, we are on these people. We are just like, it's a whole FBI unit of like stay-at-home moms, dads that are really good at tech sending me information. So this woman puts on my radar that there's a Reddit post, an anonymous Reddit post, I kid you not, that went up 6 months ago. 6 months ago during the week of the It Ends With Us premiere. Now, typically a Reddit post, anonymous, who cares, right? You're like, okay, well, like this seems like a stretch. No, it's not a stretch. This is amazing. This person correctly stated everything that was going to happen. Well, since what has happened since and what was happening in the background, essentially, they present themselves as like, I know the person, a person that is going through this. Here is what is going on. And you're not going to believe what is going on and why it's happening. And of course, when this person posted on Reddit, no one believed her because who would believe an anonymous post? A person saying that there's all this drama happening in the background. The date on this post is August 12th. Okay. So just to give you the timeline, It Ends With Us world premiere was August 6th. That's when they had the red carpet premiere. Justin Baldoni gets put into the basement. August 9th is when me, if we wanted to, could go see it in theaters. This person on August 12th decides to write a whole long post because they're overcome with emotion and they don't know where to drop it. And that's what Reddit's for, right? You can't say it to people that you know, so you just drop it on the platform. And look what this person says. This is amazing. Okay, I'm going to read you the post in its entirely. This is in the Reddit feed for Colleen Hoover. This user writes, okay, I know a lot of the inside drama for It Ends With Us, and I just don't know who to share it with, so here we are. I'm obviously using a throwaway, but I know someone who worked on the movie for most of its run who would have gotten these details piping hot and not some grapevine situation. They told me firsthand what they know. I'll give you the bullet points. Supposedly, Blake felt that Justin made her uncomfortable on set. One instance in particular, they said, was that Justin told Blake that she looked sexy in what she was wearing on set. I don't know the context around it. Pause there. Fact check, true. It was in Blake Lively's lawsuit. She said that he used the word sexy. This was a huge part of a lawsuit that we then found out in December. This person's dropping this tea in August. And Justin Baldoni's defense was this was a word that she introduced into our lexicon, so to speak, in terms of our friendship. She used to say sexy. So when I said sexy, I thought that was an okay term. So this person knows that. It's in both of their lawsuits. Next, they say apparently Justin wasn't happy with the original editors being cut out of the movie. So he hired his own team to do his version of the movie. Blake wanted to do her own version of the movie as a result, but Sony said no. Again, that fact check's true. We know that there were 2 versions that ended up being created. So Blake goes to Sony and threatens to go to the New York Times with a story that says that Justin was sexually harassing her on set if they don't let her have her own version. This is crazy, okay? Crazy because in Justin Baldoni's suit, he alleges that For months, Blake Lively was colluding with the New York Times for months. And I'm going, where is he getting for months? We've now traced this back to December 18th. Well, this must be the version is that she basically said, give me what I want or I will go to the New York Times. So now this is all an allegation, but it's fact checking true because she ended up going to the New York Times and actually doing this, okay, in the background. So if Sony told her, no, you don't get to edit our film, she says, I will go to New York Times and blast you for sexual harassment. Let's keep reading what this person dropped. Sony freaks out and says, okay, whatever you want. Again, when you read through Justin's complaint and what was happening behind the scenes with Sony, this, I would say, fact checks true based on the evidence and documents that I've seen. It then says Justin is banned from the Sony lot. I don't think forever, just for the run of the movie, but I could be wrong. That would make sense. If they're worried about a Me Too situation, they're going to be like, okay, we don't want this to happen. And so we're going to separate from you creatively, not let you get involved or do anything. This is how he ends up in the basement. It then says Blake hires T Swift's music video editors to do her version while she's filming in Italy for something else. Guess what? That fact checks true as well. Blake Lively went to Italy to film A Simple Favor 2, another movie, and we had never had this tip that she hired Taylor Swift's music video editor, okay? Next, Blake has a friends and family screening to get thoughts with lots of A-listers. Ben Affleck, Bradley Cooper, I think, et cetera, et cetera. Now, why is that stunning to me? Because another piece I couldn't figure out is why in the credits, when they make fun of It Ends With Us and they put in Gordon Reynolds, if you could pull that credit up right now, Skylar, if we could pull in the credits from It Ends With Us, if we have it, they also included Bradley Cooper, and I didn't know why. I was like, why is she giving a special thanks to Bradley Cooper in the It Ends With Us? Why did Blake Lively move to do that? That made no sense to me. This then locks that in. Bradley Cooper then sees the edit that was done with Taylor Swift's editor. This person had the tea. Let's keep, yep, there we go right there. So you see, we're pulling this up now. Gordon Reynolds, that top line. I was like, why is she thanking Bradley Cooper, Taylor Swift, Britney Spears, she wore her outfit, Austin Swift? I was like, why are we thanking Bradley Cooper? Well, this person has connected that dot for us very quickly. Let's keep reading what they had to say. So she gets their thoughts. Everyone is like, this movie makes no effing sense. Blake realizes she needs to hire an experienced film editor to fix it. So Blake uses a T Swift song in the movie that the studio loves having in there. Again, that fact checks true. We all know that they used a Taylor Swift song and they did a lot of press about that. Taylor Swift finds out that the original composer for the movie is someone that she worked with in the past that was mean to her. And she says, it's either me or it's him. So you can use my song, but you got to get rid of this composer. Sony fires that composer to keep the Taylor Swift song. I think that's everything I know. Guys.
Great news, Spectrum Internet customers. Now you can try Spectrum Mobile risk-free for a full year at no cost to you.
I'm feeling that every single bit of that post, which happened 4 months before the general public was aware of anything going on, before any lawsuits were filed, has to be absolute facts. So that, again, puts Taylor Swift at the center of this It Ends With Us drama, saga, composers leaving, music in there. She was involved during this time heavily with Ryan Reynolds and with Blake Lively. And for that reason, my friend, I am sorry, but you have to be subpoenaed. I'm sorry. You're coming to court. I am subpoenaing Taylor Swift into this lawsuit that I had nothing to do with. But I'm telling you right now, Justin Baldoni, subpoena her because she's got something to do with this, okay? I'm not saying how much she has to do with this, but I'm saying that Reddit post, it's giving me like we're on the money here. Sorry, Tree. We're probably going to have to subpoena Bradley Cooper too. I think Bradley Cooper's got to come. Sorry, guys. I want everybody in the courtroom. Okay, I'm going. I'm going. I'm going to bring Savannah. I'm going to be dressed up. I am watching this go down next year. Everyone has to be subpoenaed. There was much more going on here than meets the eyes. Okay, this is like an octopus. Just like covering everything. It's got more tentacles, arms than we could have ever imagined. And by the way, speaking of subpoenas, we are especially subpoenaing Colleen Hoover, okay, the writer of the book, because there is something that stinks to high heaven there. Because why did she delete her Instagram on January 22nd? Okay, she didn't delete it when Blake Lively filed. She was with Blake Lively, all this stuff. She didn't delete it when Justin Baldoni filed. I think he filed a couple of days later. Why did she move to delete her Instagram on January 22nd after Brian Friedman started making the rounds, signaling that he was going to subpoena all of these communications? I think we're trying to delete a digital trail. I don't like it. I also don't like that shortly after we had this announcement from a Variety article. I mean, shortly after her little sit down with Blake Lively, we showed you this clip. I'm going to show it to you again, where she doesn't seem surprised when Blake Lively says, like, "Oh, if Colleen gets her movie back, I would love to be in the sequel." This was on CNN, just reminding you, okay? So this is her and Blake Lively having this conversation during the week that I think it was August 7th. Yeah, August 7th, when their movie It Ends With Us came out, reminding you what they said for a reason. Take a listen.
And is there any
just
chance
exclusive.
that we could have a
Exclusive.
sequence?
Colleen Hoover.
What
What? Sorry,
chance
what?
that you can have a what? A sequence, like it starts with us. Oh.
I mean, if Colleen has her rights, I'll go anywhere. I'll follow this woman anywhere.
Y'all heard her.
Y'all heard her. I did hear her. And I heard you, Colleen. You didn't seem surprised by that. And Justin Baldoni already owned the rights. You sold them to him. Wayfarer Studio already owned the rights. So what did you two know that the general public didn't know? And then following that little sit down, and then start looking into Colleen Hoover. And she, at some time around this period, at least according to this Variety article, launched her own production company with the aim of getting, control over her future books. Okay, look at this. This is Variety article that was published on October 7th. And it's saying Colleen Hoover novel. This is another one. Reminders of Him sets movie adaptation at Universal for Valentine's Day 2026. Okay, buried in that article, it says she and Hoover, and they were referring to her partner Levine, will produce through their newly launched production company, Heartbones Entertainment. So I think something's going on here. I think that we're going to have to bring in some Heartbones Entertainment execs. I even went so far as to look up their LLC and see if there had been any movement. So she filed for Heartbones Entertainment LLC in Beverly Hills in California in January of 2023. I'll add it to our timeline. But there was a change. Go back to that. And this screenshot doesn't show you. She changed her agent for this LLC in October, right? So right around the time that this came and this announcement came of Heartbones Entertainment, she moved to make her agent a very, very high-flying law firm, a lawyer there that works for a law firm that's recently changed its name. I mean, they repped everyone from Johnny Depp to Brad Pitt. I mean, A-list, Jake Gyllenhaal. And I'm going, what's that move about? I've got questions. I got to dig a little into Colleen Hoover, this production company being launched, a little, ha, 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 you heard her. Yep, we did hear her, Colleen. We did. It's echoing in my mind, Colleen. And I find you to be suspicious, and I find Taylor Swift to be suspicious. And from what I know about Taylor Swift and how she got her master's and how the public still doesn't really understand how that happened from a business perspective. And yet it's all about the press. It's all about the press. If you can win the press war, then you can kind of do whatever you want in the background. And I am feeling, I'm getting vibes that this entire move was about sinking Justin Baldoni, potentially, because they just wanted to get this movie and the sequel out of his hands. And a better story would have been, well, we're giving it to Colleen Hoover. She's the book owner. She has to own her masters, right? Rather than, who invested in that, by the way? Heartbones Entertainment. I'm just wondering, does she own it 100%? Did Ryan and Blake make an investment in it? I want to see their Instagram communications. You can't just like throw bleach on it and smash a file and think that we're not going to find it. There's digital footprints, Colleen, and I'm going to need yours. I need yours immediately, okay? So anyways, everyone right now is scattering into the wind, including, look at this headline, Blake Lively's own brother-in-law. Okay, so Blake Lively has a sister that is more talented than her. Her name is Robin Lively. Absolutely loved her in Teen Witch. Really a fantastic movie, Robin. Anyways, Robin is married to a guy, and he initially came out and was throwing shade at Justin Baldoni. And look at this headline, Blake Lively's brother-in-law apologizes. This is today, guys, for anything unkind he said amid Justin Baldoni drama, because now we're chasing down the real bullies, right? And so, by the way, and I think there's another headline of him saying that, People Magazine is covering it. I want to say I respect that. I respect if you got it wrong, like legitimately, and you maybe really thought she was sexually assaulted. Now you've read through the complaint and you're saying, you know what, I shouldn't have done that. That is like respectable right there. It's the people like Brandon Sklenner who are silent right now, who hyped this, read the complaint, we read it, and then we read Justin's, and it is despicable that you threw a guy under the bus. And I think Brandon Sklenner, he's got to be subpoenaed, okay? He absolutely must be subpoenaed into my courtroom. That's how I feel. I want Brandon Sklenner, Colleen Hoover, and Taylor Swift subpoenaed into this courtroom. And an article in the Daily Mail is not going to stop that. Taylor Swift's team. So we will pause there. Guys, I have literally the most hilarious. This interview is going to make your day. Before we get there, though, I have to tell you, this is a very big day for me. I'm really excited. I am just beside myself. It has been such a labor of love, but our new website is up, CandaceOwens.com. I've been telling you about that. All of you guys emailing me about a Shot in the Dark series. Today, I officially launched the new website at CandaceOwens.com. Obviously, could not have done it without the help of the people that developed this website at Patmos Development. So here's what we're offering. This is obviously, some of this is free and some of it is behind a paywall. And just being honest with you, this is the largest investment I've ever made, that me and my husband have ever made in ourselves. And so this has not been an easy project, but I just believe in the work that we're doing, and I don't want to be subject to YouTube's policies to be able to bring in, a shot in the dark or talk about vaccines, or as we're doing the Emmanuel Macron series. So if you go to CandaceOwens.com, you can join the book club. So many people have been asking about all the books that we read. We're going to meet twice a month on this website. First book up is going to be Chaos, obviously, because that is the book that broke my brain. There's exclusive content that's going to be up there. A Shot in the Dark, obviously, being back. So the first 10 episodes are officially up if you want to subscribe to that, and only that. And then we just release a new episode every 2 weeks, as we were doing when I was at the Daily Wire. I can't wait for you guys to see the birth control series, because that one completely shocked me to learn what was in there, but it makes all of this stuff safe. Also, of course, the Macron episodes that would never be able to survive on here are going to be up. Those will not be put behind a paywall, so don't worry. First episode will be on YouTube as we introduce you to it, and then our upcoming Becoming Brigitte series will live on the website for the things that they will definitely strike us for here on YouTube. So if you want to join the book club, it's just $9.99 a month, which I felt was like a really great price for access to literally everything. $16.99 a month. And as always, the podcast episodes will still be free. So do not worry if you're not in a place right now where you can do that. And there will be all of these free and paid versions on the website, a lot more communication. I'm hoping to make like a mom Reddit, like a mom edit, where we can talk and freely exchange information for all of us who don't vax our children. So that will be fun as well. Anyways, I just want to thank Patmos.tech. They developed the website, and more importantly, to thank my husband, because this is just the stuff that he does behind the scenes. And it has been a killer season for him getting this together, as well as my team, my producers, Mark, Skylar, Chris. Everyone has played a part in this. So CandaceOwens.com, and we have all that extra information. Okay, guys. Abel and Ola Onsendairo. Listen, 6 years ago, a terrible thing happened. Black guy walking through Chicago got beat up by some MAGA people. And then we found out that he maybe beat up himself. But it was a traumatizing thing for him to go through nonetheless. So I just would like to show you this clip of Jussie Smollett on ABC News after the horrific incident that has never been happened before, a hate crime against thyself. Take a listen.
Who says empire, this MAGA country, ties a noose around your neck and pours bleach on you? And this is just a friendly fight? I will never be the man that this did not happen to. I am forever changed. I have fought for love. I'm an advocate. I respect too much the people who I am now one of those people who have been attacked in any way. You do such a disservice when you lie about things like this.
If the attackers are never found, how will you be able to heal?
I don't know. Let's just hope that they are. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's not go there yet. Let's
I'm not laughing, you're laughing. And for those of you that are laughing in the chat, I'm completely disgusted with you. This was a real attack. It's just one that we've never considered. And I felt when he said that, like, we got to find these attackers, like, I had to find them, and I did find them. And so, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to cut. We filmed this interview with them yesterday so we could roll it today. So I'm going to roll it for you guys, and then I will see you for live questions. And I promise you, this interview is going to make your day. Take a listen. Abel and Ola, I have been meaning to interview you guys for quite some time. I mean, really fantastic, fantastic work. I guess my first question really is, how much would it be if I wanted to book you to conduct a hate crime against myself? At this moment, I'm assuming prices have gone up.
Yes, definitely. It's not no longer 3,500. It's we've 100x'd that. So yes.
Okay, so you might be out of my budget. There's a lot of questions here that I think many people have, but I guess my first question is, my second question rather, were there no white people available for this particular park? Because I think if you're going to try to do, this is MAGA country, I got, assaulted by some white people, maybe trying to cast some white guys in this part might have been good.
Yes, I agree. Let me explain something. I blame for this whole thing President Trump for this whole experience that went down. And the reason I blame him is because in 2016, he did not address the DEI issue. So we were DEI hires. That's why he used us. So I blame President Trump.
So can you tell me, how did Jesse breach? I need to know how the conversation started, because it's such an awkward conversation to have. Like, can you assault me and pretend to be white guys? So I just need to hear you guys tell me how it went down.
Yeah, so he initially texted me saying that he wants to speak with me on the low, that I should come meet him at CineSpace where they film Empire. So I went to go meet him, and he was driving me home, and he was smoking weed, of course, he always does. And he just randomly said, "I want you to beat me up." Yeah, crazy, right? But before he said that, he did say Kim K, she had just gotten robbed in Paris, her family, and he was telling me how that was staged. That's what he said. He said it was completely fabricated, that it was a publicity stunt. So he was trying to trying to convince me to do this. And then he was like, "Yeah, I want you to beat me up." So I was at first confused. I didn't say anything. And I waited for him to say something else because I was dumbfounded. And then he said, "Yeah, I need you to beat me up, fake beat me up." So then he proceeded to ask me if my brother would do it. And I said, sure, he would. So that's what happened.
So you're just in a car and he's like, "Remember that Kim K thing? That entire thing was fake," which, by the way, I have not heard that. So that's very interesting that he would say that, and maybe he would know, who knows? But so he's just saying to you, like, "I need you to do this." You're saying your brother's instantly in. When did he kind of spell out for you the plan of how he wanted to go down? And also, did he tell you why he wanted you to do it? Is he just like a PR stunt?
Yeah, so initially so we went to go meet my brother that day. When he drove me home, we saw my brother, he got in the car, and then he laid out the details, what he wanted us to do. And then we did a drive-through, not a drive-through, a run-through the next day.
Yeah, like rehearsal, dress rehearsal.
A dress rehearsal. Yeah, where we went to the location. He picked out everything, all the details. He picked it out, and he said a camera would be right there. That we're gonna do it right here by the stairs, and the camera will capture everything. And he did mention that it was for publicity. Well, he didn't say it. It was implied that it was supposed to be for publicity because he said he was gonna disperse it to the media companies. And he never said, what he didn't say was, he never said it was going to be for reported to the police, which then made it criminal.
Okay. So whose idea was the bleach? Because that's a very compelling part of the story. I mean, I've been Black a long time, I would say. And when I think of crimes against Black people, just from my experience, no one like throws bleach because it's not going to dye your skin white per se. So whose genius idea was the bleach?
So actually, it was originally supposed to be gasoline, but I did not feel comfortable throwing gasoline on somebody, so I changed it to bleach.
Yeah. So it's actually a better option.
That's a good touch. So so you got the bleach in there. Now, when he recommended the gasoline, why even the gasoline?
I don't know.
Dramatics.
I don't know.
Like,
Yeah.
you
I
could
don't
add
know
brighter
Jesse
mood.
personally. Yeah, but he doesn't sound like the brightest, maybe the brightest of stars, so to speak, because I don't know why would you wait. And by the way, gasoline kind of expensive,
Right.
Okay, so here's another question. Black people, obviously, just going into some Black science here, we don't particularly love the cold. So that was one of the first things that flagged to me as weird. I said, listen, you can't tell me that Black people are out during a polar vortex. Was the polar vortex accidental? Did you pick that night accidentally?
It was very accidental. So Jesse wanted it to be done. My brother could go more into it. He wanted it to be done before we left for Nigeria. So we already had a trip going to Nigeria that we booked 3 months prior. So he reached out to us and he knew we were going to Nigeria. So he asked, "Hey, when are you guys going to Nigeria?" "Oh, tomorrow? Well, I need it done today." And that's how it went down. And then and we were only going to be in Nigeria for 2 weeks. And he said, no, he can't wait for 2 weeks. And we have an idea why that might have happened.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy because his flight, he was coming back from New York that day, and his flight kept getting delayed. It got delayed like twice, where we had to change the original time of 12 a.m. to 2 a.m. in the morning. And he still wanted to go on with the plan. He said, no, we're still doing it. So that's what happened. He wanted us to do it before we left to Nigeria.
So you guys are communicating and he's like, no, it's still on. Like, is this just on text? Okay, so
Yeah,
all of
so
this is being documented. And when
yes.
you realized how many degrees it was not that night, did you, as Black men, have some second thoughts about whether you were going to embrace this polar vortex? Were there any second thoughts?
There was four thoughts. Four thoughts. Man, it was cold as hell. It was colder than penguin feet. I'm saying, there was times we were like, you know what? Let's just go back, bro. Let's just go back.
Yeah, no, actually, because he was late. He was not at the exact spot exactly at 2 a.m. So we gave him literally a couple minutes to show up because we weren't gonna wait out there. But Lord behold, he showed up at the last minute.
Wow, unbelievable. And so when he gave you the script per se, because you went over the plan, the detailed plan, was "This is MAGA country" in it, or were you guys sort of ad-libbing?
MAGA country, I feel that we came up with that, but all the other stuff, like the real bad derogatory stuff, that was all Jesse.
Yeah, he wanted the red hats, and we just made it MAGA country. So he wanted us to say the F word, or he wanted us to say he wanted us to say, aren't you that empire? And then we're like, this is MAGA country, before beating them up. Well, fake beating him up. Yeah, so that's what
I
happened.
think the greatest part is the line, "This is MAGA country." Like, if we're going for the awards here, whoever came up with that line is the creative genius of the two of you, because I just think it is hilarious. It's just objectively, "This is MAGA country."
No, he wanted us to get like actual "Make America Great Again" hats, but we couldn't find them nowhere in Chicago.
In Chicago, the bluest city ever.
So we just got a regular red hat from the beauty supply.
And did he say to you, what did he say about your not white faces? Like, was it his suggestion that you had to cover them? Well, what did he say?
Yeah, so since there were gonna be cameras, he said make sure you cover your face, wear masks and all that. So you couldn't see our face. It was to the point that so my brother and I we were playing. It was an acting gig for us, so we were playing white supremacists, white racists from the South. So we even came up with names. He was Bubba, but I didn't have no name. So so it was it was so believable to the point that when we were in the Uber on our way there, the Uber driver told the police that they were white guys. So he thought we were white. And yeah, because we were talking in our Southern accent, our best Southern accents. So yeah,
If you
it
don't
was,
mind, just because we're here, could we
yeah.
hear Bubba's Southern MAGA country accent?
Yeah, so that night when we went and took care of Jesse,
That Jesse,
yeah,
come go get that boy over there.
that boy thought he could fight us back.
Yeah, all
We
right.
took care of that boy, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. This is
All right.
MAGA country.
And you better know it. I don't know if we're gonna get in
It's
trouble for that.
terrible. Your
but-
accents are terrible.
I know.
You sound like two Nigerian men trying to sound like you're from Tennessee. They're terrible.
Oh, hey, people from Chicago don't know. You know that's yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's so funny. Okay, so when you got the noose, this is very important because that's all that happens down here. Just nooses everywhere. Did you ever expect that following the incident, Jesse would be so dumb as to leave the noose around his neck and still be holding the sandwich? Because this seems like this maybe went wrong in the improv skit. Because I do think that if I was getting jumped with gasoline and bleach and being called the N-word and the F-word, that I might drop the sandwich. Like, it's not that Subway's not particularly the greatest thing I've ever eaten. And he didn't do that. So what happened there?
He might have been hungry,
Right?
especially after an ass whooping.
Yeah, that ass whooping was pretty hard on him.
Yeah.
But we think he left the noose for a reason. And so 2 months prior, I think in December, a bill was passed, or it passed the Senate floor or the House floor, and then it was going to the other side, and it was the anti-lynching bill. I don't know if it was called that at that time, and it was also coming up again February 14th, and that's the reason why we believe he wanted us to do it again right before we went to Nigeria, because we wouldn't have been back by February 14th. So our book, so we released a book that tells about the whole situation, about if you make a mistake, that's not the end all be all. You can move forward and past that. And our book explains who we think might have brought this.
Yeah, we don't think
brought-
Jesse's the actual mastermind behind this. We think somebody put him up to this.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah. Our
Let me
book,
tell you, no one's ever accused Jesse Smollett of being a mastermind. I will tell you that. So, what is the title of your book, and where can people go to find it?
So the title of the book is Bigger Than Jesse. What is it? The disturbing need for modern day lynching. And it is found on Amazon or anywhere you buy your books, Barnes and Noble, anywhere.
Okay, so you guys, you're hearing that, my listeners. If you want to hear more about this story, which is truly, it's now a part of American history. It's positively hilarious. Just a couple of things, obviously, for you guys listening. If a Black person ever tells you that they went out in a polar vortex, it's funny business. Okay, it's just not what we do genetically. We cannot do certain things, and that's one of them. That's why we don't ski, ice hockey, none of those things. And so that's why I knew the story never made sense. But go out and buy their book. They are positively hilarious. And they were completely honest from the beginning with the police. They came forward and told the truth, because for them, they were just trying to play a part. They were just trying to be Bubba. They didn't know that they were getting involved with some crazy politics in trying to get an anti-lynching bill passed. You guys, I am so glad that you joined me today. I can't tell you, I've watched your interviews and you guys are hilarious. So I wish you all the success in the world. And the next time I get in touch, please do know that it will be to stage my own um, hate crime, and I'm gonna have some really good lines for you.
Okay, we ready.
Get your money
Mhm.
up.
Yeah, big price.
Thank you guys so much for joining. We'll put a link up to your book.
Thank you. We
Thank you.
appreciate you.
Well, I'm disgusted at the live chat right now. A lot of laughing emojis. They shared a story that has given Jussie Smollett great pain. Plausibly the worst accent I've ever heard in my entire life. I knew that would brighten your day because it brightened my day when we recorded it yesterday. Very, very funny. All right, guys, we could almost get into all of your comments and questions during this article. First, want to remind you, one of our sponsors, American Financing, because I know there's a lot of Americans that are carrying around credit card balances that charge 20% or more each and every month. It's time to take control of your debt. If you're a homeowner and you've been waiting to figure out how to get your finances in order, you need to call my friends at American Financing today. American Financing salary-based mortgage consultants are helping homeowners just like you tap into their home's equity to get out of high interest debt. They're saving their average customer $800 a month by doing this. Saving that kind of money every month should make the decision really easy. All it takes is a 10-minute, no cost, no obligation phone call to find out how much you could be saving. And if you start today, you may be able to delay 2 mortgage payments. So call American Financing today at 800-795-1210. That's 800-795-1210, or you can visit americanfinancing.net/Owens. It's americanfinancing.net/Owens. All right, guys. Again, reminding you, please go to CandaceOwens.com. We worked so hard on that, and it is, like I said, a shot in the dark. We have 3 seasons of that. We're going to go through vaccines for children so that parents just don't feel like out of the blue, like they're telling you it's life or death, so that you have more information. You can ask the doctor questions, and hopefully you understand my journey and why I am anti-vax and why so many moms are now saying no to vaccines. That's very close to my heart. I think it's the most important work that I do, to be quite honest. We'll also put up interviews with people that we could never speak to. Obviously, the Emmanuel Macron series will be there. And the book club, if you guys want to join the book club, first book we are reading is Chaos, of course, because it has been the one that has broken my brain. And I have so many questions about our government. It's going to be really fun for us to be able to chat about books each month. And yeah, so check it out. At least go check it out, CandaceOwens.com. Let us know what you think. Give us some feedback. And thank you guys, because that site, which was very, like I said, a very major investment, was only possible because you guys invested in me. And those of you guys that were signing up to Locals, we migrated you over to the platform already, so you didn't miss out. If you were like, Candace, I just signed up for Locals, don't worry, you got migrated over for free at no cost to yourself for the year, if you signed up for the year or the month, whatever it was. And so just from the bottom of my heart, like, thank you guys for just making this possible and allowing me to invest in making things bigger. And thanks to my team, and especially, like I said, thanks to my wonderful husband, because he has done everything. I am not a tech genius. By the way, for tomorrow, I'll have a major tidbit. I think tomorrow, we're deciding whether or not we need to spend the day working on the Emmanuel Macron intro. But if we are here tomorrow, I also got more metadata, which suggests that the New York Times titled the article and began working on the article on December 10th. So our timeline is getting crazy. We are really starting to understand what evil, in my view, Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively were in cahoots to impart upon Justin Baldoni. And we are being copy and pasted from right now. I'm literally having the Daily Mail steal our content and create articles and pretending that they found all of this stuff. And it obviously is not true. You guys did. We did. It is our little CIA, Candace Investigation Academy, whatever you want to call it, that association that's sending all of this information to info@candace.com. So many insiders saying, I worked here, I worked there, I'm on set, or just saying, have you seen this? So it's you guys, like it's independent journalism, the people at home that are making dinner for their kids who find time at night to look up some stuff. So I want to thank you guys and credit you guys, and you should know that you are bigger than the media. Okay, we're already at 50 minutes, but I do want to get to some of these questions. Oh my gosh, the Officer Tatum is here. He says, Candace is the GOAT. That is my brother. I absolutely love, obviously, Brennan Tatum. I love Corinne Tatum. So thank you guys so much for donating just now to the show. You could have just gotten a whole year subscription to CandaceOwens.com. Beans writes, Candace spilling the tea all over the place. Thank you. Thank you for supporting the show. Kim T writes, I love your straightforward, telling it how it is commentary. You're the best. I get a good laugh listening to you. Thank you. I genuinely am just so happy. Like, I'm happy to be free. I'm happy to be independent. And I'm just happy that more people are getting to hear me and not believe all of the horrible things I feel like the media said about me for years. It feels like we've now gotten to a place where people know that it's not true. Alex Needham asks, I didn't know I needed this interview, but I did need it. See, I knew you guys needed it. We needed the Nigerian brothers. They are just gems. I love them. And by the way, they never lied to the police. For them, it really was an acting gig. They got cast as two white racist men in the middle of a Chicago vortex. That was real. They were happy about being cast for $3,500. And they said, Jesse wrote them a check. And when we were offline, they said they don't accept checks anymore. So if I do book them, I'm going to have to pay them cash, I assume. They're done with the business of putting things in writing. So when I execute my hate crime against myself, I'll keep you guys posted. Mud writes, Blake and Ryan are visible farts. Okay, Mud, thank you for that. Thank you very much for that. Erie says, Candace always pulls up with the smoke and receipts. Yes, like I said, my investment in this, to me, it's not a Hollywood story. It is a Me Too story. It is a political movement that got hijacked by women that understood they could easily take down men who would not be able to defend themselves against toxic femininity. And I have 3 sons. And so I am going to see this through.